Hi, I'm Harrison from Audio Advice. Today we're diving into the brand new lineup of madVR Envy processors, the Mark III series and the Core Mark II. These are the most advanced video processors madVR Labs has ever built, with powerful new GPUs, HDMI 2.1, VRR gaming support, and cutting-edge AI video processing. Now, if you've never seen an Envy in action, it transforms your picture quality in ways no projector or AVR can match, handling HDR Tone Mapping, aspect ratio management, motion processing, and calibration at a reference level. And now with these new models, you're getting performance and features that take things into an entirely new level. In this video, we'll break down what's new, show you the key differences between each model, and help you figure out which one is right for your system. Now, starting with what's new, the flagship Envy Extreme Mark III is now powered by the NVIDIA 5080 GPU, which brings a massive jump in processing power and efficiency compared to the 4080 and 3080 used in prior models. Now, right below it, the Pro Mark III steps up to the NVIDIA 5060 GPU, giving it the horsepower needed for advanced AI features without jumping all the way to the Extreme. Now, the Pro and the Extreme Mark III also both have full HDMI 2.1 support at 48 gigabits per second, which means they can handle 8K, 4K 120, and full 12-bit 444. But the really exciting part is that the new Envys now support auto low latency mode and variable refresh rate. You get full HDMI 2.1 bandwidth with VRR support up to 360 Hz, making it ideal not only for consoles but also for high-end gaming PCs that can push ultra-high frame rates. Now, in addition, older Envys actually added about 220 milliseconds of delay, which was fine for movies, but way too much for gaming. Now, these new models cut that delay dramatically, so gameplay will feel smooth and responsive while still giving you the Envy's reference level HDR tone mapping and color processing. Of course, if you're a competitive gamer, you'll probably still want that dedicated gaming monitor, but the new Envys finally let you be able to enjoy their incredible HDR tone mapping and color processing in your games without having to use the HDMI bypass feature like you did before. Plus, they all still have that same ECC RAM, Glacier X2 cooling system, and a 4U chassis size, the same as the Mark II, so if you're upgrading from a Mark II, it's a simple drop-in fit. Okay, now there's the Core Mark II. For most people, this is the model that really hits the sweet spot. It's compact at just 2U, just like the Mark I, and it runs on the same graphics card as the Pro Mark III uses, the NVIDIA 5060. This model has all the core features that you need to unlock the Envy experience in your theater, and at its price point, it delivers incredible performance for the money. However, what truly unlocks the Core Mark II's potential is the addition of that Core Premium package. This allows it to use its full HDMI 2.1 with 8K, 4K 120, and full 12-bit 444, and adds the ALLM and VRR. You'll also get more powerful features like dynamic subtitle overlay, extra AI processing, and it doubles the warranty from 2 to 4 years. Okay, so those are the key upgrades to each model. Next, I want to dive deeper and go over the key features of what an Envy can do and why you would want to add one to your system. Along the way, I'll discuss which models have each upgraded feature and why you might want them, but I'll also link down below a chart that compares all the features across all the models at audioadvice.com. So if you want to compare every single detail, I'd recommend checking that out along with our super in-depth buyer's guide at audioadvice.com, all linked below. All right, first, one of the biggest reasons that Envy stands out is how it handles high dynamic range, or HDR. You've probably heard HDR mentioned alongside things like wide color gamut and 4K resolution. Together, these technologies are meant to create a more lifelike, visual, impactful image. Now, the challenge is that HDR movies and shows are often mastered at brightness levels between 1,000 and 10,000 nits, far beyond what most displays can actually reproduce. Even the best flagship TVs that can push past 2,000 nits can't sustain that level of brightness across an entire scene. Projectors, on the other hand, face an entirely bigger challenge, since they only deliver between 50 and 150 nits on screen, which again is dramatically lower than that reference mastering level from 1,000 to 10,000 nits. So the gap between those mastering levels and what your TV or projector can actually output is where tone mapping comes in, and this is where the Envy makes a huge difference. To make HDR viewable at home, the content has to be mapped down into the brightness range of your display. Now, early approaches relied on static tone mapping, where a single curve was applied across an entire movie or show. The result was often an image that looked just too dark in one scene or too bright in another, with details either crushed in the shadows or clipped in the highlights. Now, the Envy here takes a completely different approach with dynamic tone mapping. So instead of applying one static curve, it analyzes every single frame in real time and uses advanced algorithms to adjust the picture based on both the source material and the actual nit level of your display. You simply input your display's peak brightness and the Envy does the rest, customizing the output so your theater always gets the most accurate and the most impactful HDR possible. Now the best part is that every current Envy model from the Core Mark 1, Core Mark 2, Pro Mark 3, all the way to the flagship Extreme Mark 3 delivers the same HDR feature set. That means you get frame-by-frame 4K HDR dynamic tone mapping, selectable HDR looks to suit your preferences, and easy controls for highlight and global saturation. You also get advanced recovery tools that maximize performance, including contrast recovery, highlight recovery for fine details and bright scenes, and shadow detail recovery that preserves subtle information in dark areas. Okay, so to help you understand, I want to show you an example of how this actually works. However, I'll need you to focus on what I'm telling you happens versus what you're actually seeing, since it will be compressed on YouTube in this video, so the improvements are dramatically reduced versus seeing them in person. And this goes for all the demonstrations I'll do throughout this video. So to demonstrate the tone mapping here, take a look at one of these screenshots from one of the Harry Potter movies. The image on the left is from a high-end front projector, but without the Envy in the signal path. The one on the right is with the Envy in the signal path. Just take a look at the bottom left area where a lightning bolt is striking Harry's hand. Without the Envy, it's just completely white with no detail or color. But when you look at the side with the Envy, the full detail and color are clearly seen, providing a much more exciting image. The same can be seen in the faces at the upper left and right sides. Without the Envy, you can just barely make out that these are faces, and they're mostly whited out. But with the Envy, they are clearly seen with full detail and color. Now the same thing goes for scenes on the darker end where the Envy preserves shadow details for a much better image. Okay, so another feature that I want to touch on here that we often use and we really appreciate is that on every model, there's aspect ratio management. Now movies and shows come in many different aspect ratios. Some are 16:9, which is standard for most TV and streaming. Others, like many Netflix productions, are 2.0, and most big Hollywood films are 2.4. This wide variety of formats can create some challenges here. Now, if you have a 16:9 display and you watch a widescreen movie, you'll notice black bars at the top and bottom of your screen. Well, the Envy actually solves this by allowing you to automatically move the image up or down, eliminating one of those black bars so that the picture just feels more natural. But the bigger benefit here comes for people with scope or widescreen projection systems. Without the Envy, you're likely relying on your projector's lens memory to switch between aspect ratios. Now that process can take 10 to 20 seconds, and because lens memories might shift positions and can drift over time, the result is often imprecise. Okay, so to give you a better example of how this works, I'm gonna cut over to our CEO, Scott, who actually lives with this in his home, and have him explain it how it works on his screen.
One of the cool things about the madVR Envy is that it can auto sense. If you have a 16:9, it will fill a widescreen with 16:9. If you're watching a 2.0 movie, it will move it a little bit wider. If it's 2.4, it will automatically fill the entire screen. Now, what's super cool though is when you have a widescreen like this, one of the major problems is when you watch a movie like an Interstellar that's got multiple aspect ratios in it. A movie like that will fill your screen with 2.4, and then as soon as it cuts to 16:9, it overscans way up there and down here, and you lose like 25% of the picture. The madVR fixes that. So if you take a look here at Interstellar, what you'll see is as it moves between 16:9 and 2.4, it automatically rescales everything and fully fits it all onto the screen. Totally cool.
Okay, now if you're also a sports fan with a widescreen front projector, you'll probably love the non-linear stretch feature that the Envy has. Almost all sporting events are broadcast in 16:9, leaving big black bars on the sides of your widescreen. Now you can set the Envy up to smartly remove those black bars. In many of the theaters we design and set up, we configure the Envy to slightly crop the top and bottom of the image, since those areas usually contain little to no important content. From there, the Envy applies a very, very subtle stretch toward the outer edges of the picture while gently compressing other areas. So what that does is during a big event like the Super Bowl, it'll totally transform the way the game feels in your theater. Plus, once you have it set up, it will be recalled and used instantly and automatically. Now next, if you watch a lot of foreign films on 2.4 widescreen, you have probably run into the issue of subtitles being placed below the active picture. When you adjust the image to fill your widescreen, those subtitles disappear into the black bar, forcing you to switch back to 16:9 just to read them. That not only interrupts the experience, but also shrinks your image dramatically. Well, the Envy gives you two solutions here. First, you can slightly resize the picture automatically so that subtitles are brought back into view. This works really well and requires no extra button presses so that the movie keeps flowing and your widescreen stays filled. But the bigger breakthrough here is the new dynamic subtitle overlay, or DSO, that you get on the Core with the premium package or any generation of the Pro and Extreme models. So instead of shrinking the image, the DSO moves subtitles into the active picture area only when they would otherwise fall in the black bars. It also keeps your full image height and constant image width, then intelligently refines how the text appears. It can also lower the subtitle brightness to reduce glare, reduce size so the text covers less of the image, and even adapt subtitle color so it blends with the scene while staying easy to read. So if you enjoy content with subtitles, DSO is a game changer here. It's included on the Envy Pro and Envy Extreme and is available for Core owners with the Core Premium package. Now the next feature I want to discuss is for those of you using an anamorphic lens with your scope screen. You probably already know that your projector only gives you two modes here. Well, the Envy changes that completely with unlimited modes that automatically scale every aspect ratio, so menus, subtitles, and shows always look right. It's seamless and it's all automatic. And for those anamorphic lens users who might see barrel or pin cushion distortion at the edges, the Envy Extreme will also be the best model here, as it's the only one with geometry correction. This lets you dial those distortions out with precision, perfectly filling your screen. It can even fix alignment issues from curved screens or off-axis projectors, so your image always just looks super clean and accurate. Okay, moving on, as all of you video enthusiasts know, HD content has to be upscaled for your 4K projector or TV. Sure, your source device, AVR display can do it, but they just don't have the horsepower that the Envy has. To my eyes, the Envy makes HD look almost as sharp and detailed as true 4K. On top of that, you get a full set of image controls. Things like sharpness, edge enhancement, grain reduction, artifact cleanup, and mosquito noise reduction. We find that even just adding a little bit of sharpening to upscaled HD makes a pretty big difference here. And just a touch of noise reduction makes older movies much more enjoyable. And when you step up to the premium package for the Core or the Pro or Extreme Mark III, you do unlock even more power, like upscaling to 8K, advanced AI noise and artifact reduction, and on the Extreme Mark III, you also get MotionAI, which is one of the coolest new features. If you've ever noticed that little bit of stutter or judder during slow pans in movies, you know how distracting it can be. Traditional motion smoothing tries to fix this, but it usually gives you that fake soap opera effect look that isn't very enjoyable. Well, MotionAI takes a totally different approach. It uses AI to analyze every pixel, so you get smoother motion and sharper detail without losing that cinematic feel. In our testing, it made camera pans and fast movement look dramatically better, all while keeping the film-like quality intact. Once you see it, it's pretty tough to go back, and it's just another reason why the Extreme model stands apart from the rest of the lineup. Now I'm going to show you an example here. It's a little bit hard to see on YouTube, like I said, because it will be compressed, but let us tell you, it looks phenomenal and works great. Okay, now I want to discuss another one of our favorite features here. The Envy lets you group any collection of settings into what's called a profile. Think about that for a second here. Let's say you want to set an artifact reduction and subtitle handling for your Blu-ray player, and then a totally different setup for your Apple TV. You can just save each version as a profile, and with one button you can instantly switch between them. So for many of us here at Audio Advice, the way we use it every single day is pretty simple. We set up a profile that uses aspect ratio management and nonlinear stretch to fill the 2.40 screen with everything that we watch. But when we want to watch a 16:9 movie exactly as it was produced, you just hit one button and it's back to perfect, untouched 16:9 picture. And here's the kicker. If you're the kind of person that loves to tweak the settings and really dive in and A/B different ones, Profiles makes that incredibly easy for you. Now, our team here at Audio Advice has set up enough Envies to know the right questions to ask, and once we know your preferences, we can actually build those profiles that work exactly the way you want, just like we do in our very own homes. And for those of you who like to geek out, the Envy also makes experimenting super easy. It's got the best built-in help that I've ever seen on an AV product, so you always know what each setting actually does. And the way it handles changes is just brilliant. Any adjustment that you want to make first goes into a temporary state. If you like it, you can save it to a profile or lock it in as a base setting. If not, it just resets. So you can really play around as much as you want without ever worrying about messing something up. I just love that this feature is included on the Envy here. Now, the Envy also comes with its own remote that can run on IR or RF. And the latest version of this remote feels great in your hand. It lights up in the dark with full backlighting. It even has extra buttons for more control. On top of that, madVR has also made sure the Envy plays really nicely with home automation. We've used the Control 4 driver in a lot of theaters and it works beautifully. Now, with all of those advanced features that I just went over, you might be thinking that the Envy would be pretty tough to set up, but it's actually quite simple. Just plug it into your network, run HDMI in from your receiver or processor, and HDMI out to your projector or TV. A pretty quick start guide walks you through the basics, and most people are up and running in under maybe 10 minutes. Even the default settings do look fantastic right away. Now, if you want to fine-tune the settings, which we recommend you do, your dealer can dial it in for your system either on-site or through a secure remote connection. We often handle installations for customers with vacation homes and remote locations all over the place, and remote setup has pretty much become a second nature for our team here at Audio Advice. So if you purchase from Audio Advice, feel free to have us help you out. Now, for most people, the madVR Envy is a set it and forget it piece of gear. Once it's installed, it just kind of works. But if you're the kind of person who loves staying on the cutting edge, Envy also makes updates about as easy as it gets. Firmware downloads in just 15 to 30 seconds, happens completely online, and only need a single button press. You can even roll back to an earlier version just as quickly or try beta firmware to preview upcoming features before they actually officially release. It's simple, it's fast, and it's way more flexible than what you normally see in a lot of home theater gear. Okay, so you're probably starting to catch on to a theme here. The madVR Envy is not a static product. The hardware has tons of headroom, and madVR Labs has a great track record of rolling out meaningful firmware updates that keep adding value over time. Even some of the previous models and the entry-level models already include smart tools like D/AI for film mode deinterlacing, along with constant refinements to tone mapping and scaling. And if you step up to the premium package or into the Pro or Extreme Mark III models, you also unlock even deeper calibration tools like multi-zone convergence correction and advanced HDR tone mapping. But the real breakthroughs really do live at the top here. The Extreme Mark III is built with massive processing reserves to handle next-gen AI algorithms that simply aren't possible anywhere else. On the roadmap for the future are features like AI multi-frame noise and grain reduction, advanced motion compensated deinterlacing, AI sharpening that adapts to the content, and a new Chroma AI upscaling engine. These promise to deliver cleaner, sharper, and more natural images than ever before, especially with tough sources like older Blu-rays, interlaced broadcasts, or compressed streams. The takeaway here at the end of the day is that the Envy isn't just a video processor. It's a platform designed to evolve. And with the Mark III generation and Core Mark II, madVR has set the stage for years of innovation that will keep raising the bar for what's possible in your home theater. Okay, so now that we've gone over all the features, you might be wondering which model is the best for you. Well, let's start with the Core Mark I. At about $5,000, it's the entry-level Envy. It doesn't have HDMI 2.1 or some of the newest AI tools, but it still delivers the Envy magic, like dynamic tone mapping, aspect ratio, control, subtitle handling, and excellent upscaling. If you do add that premium package to it, you unlock features like dynamic subtitle overlay and advanced noise reduction. And for movies, TV, and sports, HDMI 2.0 that's on it is all you really need. So unless gaming is a priority and you do want to step up for gaming in your system, the Mark I is still a fantastic choice for modest systems or USD projectors. Now, the new Core Mark II is the real sweet spot here. It runs on the same NVIDIA 5060 GPU as the Pro Mark III and gives you all the core Envy features that you need to transform your theater that are also in the Mark I. But what really is amazing here is when you add the Core Premium package to unlock more features, you're going to get full HDMI 2.1 performance with 8K, 4K 120, and 12-bit 444, along with those gaming features like auto low latency mode and variable refresh rate. The Premium also adds dynamic subtitle overlay, extra AI processing, and doubles the warranty from 2 years all the way up to 4 years. So for most home theater owners, this is the model that's going to make a lot of sense. Now, next, the Pro Mark III sits in between, but we'll be honest here. It's not the one that we usually recommend. If you're watching your budget, the Core Mark II with the premium package will give you a little bit better value in our opinion. If you want the ultimate experience, it's worth it to step up to the Extreme Mark III. Now, that makes the Pro a bit of a middle ground that doesn't fit a lot of buyers, but if you are unsure, our team can help you figure out if maybe that one makes the most sense for your setup. And finally, the Extreme Mark III is the flagship. Now, it's not cheap, but it has all the best features in it. It runs on the NVIDIA 5080 GPU, it adds MotionAI and geometry correction, and has exclusive next-gen AI features coming down the road. It's also the only model eligible for future paid hardware upgrades, and with HDMI 2.1, VRR up to 360 Hz, and ISF certification, it's the ultimate reference choice for enthusiasts who want the best of the best. Now, here at Audio Advice, we're proud to be the largest Envy dealer in the entire world with more installations than anyone else in the US. Our team specializes in remote setup and configuration, so no matter where you are, we can make sure your Envy is dialed in perfectly for your room, your projector, and your screen. And if you're ready to unlock the full potential of your theater, we'd love to help you choose the right model and get it performing at its absolute best. And if you're building a home theater or media room, you should definitely check out our Home Theater Central page at audioadvice.com that I'll link down below. On that page, we have our free 3D home theater design tool where you can actually input all the settings of your room, and it will show you the best optimal position to place your speakers, your chair, screen projector, and so much more. We also have more buyer's guides, showcases of theaters that actually have madVRs in them, and so much more. Now, if you have more questions, we also have an extremely in-depth buyer's guide at audioadvice.com on these madVR Envies that I'll link below too. In addition, we just live and breathe this stuff, and our experts would be happy to talk to you either on the phone, chat, or you can always stop by one of our world-class showrooms and we can even show you it in person so you can experience it for yourself. Now, if this video was helpful, please consider giving it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on any of our latest content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.